Today I will be teaching you how to make the TARDIS from Doctor Who. What we do is I took some dark blue yarn and we'll be starting with a magic ring. So in the magic ring we'll start by doing 6 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After that we can close our magic ring. So once we have our magic ring with 6 single crochet, we'll increase in every stitch. So we increase 6 times. One, 2, so that's 1 increase. We do that 6 times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, 12. So now you can see we have a bit of a circle. What we want to do after this is we want to make this circle into a little bit of a square. So what we do, we start with 1 single crochet and then we double increase and then do 2 single crochet. So we do a double increase here, 1, 2, 3, because with a double increase, with a normal increase you do 2 in the same stitch, and a double increase is doing 3 stitches in the same stitch. So we just did a double increase, now we single crochet 2, 1, 2, and then we do another double increase. So we do 1, 2, 3 in the same stitch. Then we do another 2 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Then we do the double increase again. 1, 2, 3. And now we have to do 2 single crochet. 1, 2. And you can already see it's becoming a bit of a square. So we need to do the last double increase. 1, 2, 3, and single crochet 1. As you can see, that leaves us with a nice square. Now that we have the square, we need to build the walls of the police box. So to do that, we do the back post stitch all around, and the back post stitch is a back post single crochet, and to do that you have to not work in the loops that you normally would, but you kind of turn it around and you work in the little posts that are on the back. So there's loads of tutorials on this stitch. I'm not gonna explain it in too much detail here, but what you do is you just go to the back posts and you go all around doing single crochets in those instead of in the normal loops. So the first is always a bit difficult to make sure that you don't take any extra loops or anything like that. And you do that 20 times. You do that all around. So this was the first, and then 2, 3, 4. So you can see again and again I am going from the back to the front and then going to the back again to take these loops. What's this? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you can see that this gives us a really good ridge. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So you can see all around we now have very clear a bottom and then a ridge. So now that we have the bottom and the start of the walls, we are gonna build the actual walls up, and to do that we will be repeating the same thing from row 5 till 12, and that is we single crochet 2, then we do the front post stitch, where instead of from the back around the post we go through the front and then around the post. But again, there's a lot of tutorials about that one. So yeah, we repeat that 8 times, that row. So we do 2 single crochet, and it's always after we work on the back, it's always kind of nice to just count where you actually have to start. So because here it can be quite difficult to see, do I need to start in this one or in this one? So then you can always just count your loops: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then I know that this is my loop number 20, which is the loop that I need to start in, because there's 20 stitches at the end of the row. So I start here, single crochet 1, single crochet 2, and then the front post stitch, which is I go in here, I take this one and I do a single crochet in there, and that creates a bit of a ridge. After that, I can check again which loop do I need to work in. And it's this one, so it's the one really close to my hook. And I do 4 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another front post stitch and 4, and then the front post stitch again, and 4 single crochet, and then our front post stitch, and then 2, and I repeat that another 7 times, so in total I do this 8 times. And just keep going. If you want, you can always just count the amount of loops that you have in between to make sure that you're still on the right track. Yep. I'm still doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I still have 20 stitches, so I just keep going. And you can see that there's another ridge appearing here, so that's our 4 corners. I actually did too much, so I'm just gonna go back a bit until I'm actually at the right place. Yep. So you can see it clearly starts to look like a box. And what we need to do now is we need to close the box. So because we want a nice edge like this again, we're going to work in back loop only. So of these two loops, we're only going to work in the back loop, and we're going to do a single crochet, then a double decrease. So at the start we did a double increase, now we're doing a double decrease, so we're going from 3 stitches to 1 stitch. So we take 1 back loop, 2 back loop, 3 back loops, and we're going to close that. And then we're going to do 3 just back loop single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and then another double decrease. So we do 1, 2, 3. Then we do the 3 double crochets, and I'm just counting. I think I missed something. Let me just check if I even have enough loops here in the end. Yeah, I do have enough loops, so I'm just gonna try again. So we do 1 single crochet, then 1 double decrease or a triple decrease. We do 3 single crochet, and then I can't count. Okay, so I'm just gonna insert the audio here about the 2 and the 3, and then I'm gonna start. So in the back loop I do 1 single crochet, and then a double decrease. So I decrease, but I take from the back loop from 3 stitches. So I go from 3 stitches to 1 stitch, and then I do 2 single crochet, but I just keep only getting the back loop. So 1, 2, and then another double decrease in the back loop. 1, 2, and 3, and then 2 single crochet again. 1, 2, another double decrease. 1, 2, 3, 2 single crochet. 1, 2, and our last double decrease, 1, 2, 3, and just one more single crochet, and then we went all around. So what we just need to do now is we need to fill our little TARDIS. I just use some fiber fill for this. Sometimes I just, if I have any leftover pillows or something like that, or sometimes I just buy the cheapest IKEA pillow. I just use that for filling, but you can use anything. Maybe you have some, if you're a quilter, you might have some scraps laying around that you can use. I don't have any scraps, so I just use fiber fill filling. So we're just going to fill our TARDIS. Because it can be quite difficult to get it in, I sometimes just like to use the back of a pen, because then I can just get it in there. What you want to do is you don't want to make it too filled, because then it can it kind of, stuff like this can happen where it kind of loses the shape. So you don't want to make it too filled, but you also don't want to make it too empty. So you just kind of need to try. Right now I'm thinking, well, I can try to make it a little bit more filled, and you just take a little bit, and you can start by putting chunks in it, but after a while you can just do little bits and really kind of feel when you think that it's squishy enough but not too filled. And sometimes I just like to twist this to make sure that there's no little ends that don't want to get in there, but I think everyone has their own little filling technique. So I think this looks good. It's not too filled. Yeah, I think this is a good amount of filling. Sometimes I also just like to, if you crochet, sometimes it looks a bit like this, where the edges kind of go, they don't go straight. What you can do is just kind of twist it, and then it looks straight again. So now we are at the last row, and what we do here is we just do a decrease, a normal decrease, for six times, so all around. And we do this in both of the loops again. So 1, 2, 3, and sometimes you can just kind of get the filling back in to make sure that you don't accidentally get some filling with your hook. 4, 5, and the last is 6. So now we're all finished, so we can get this off, and you can end your the little hole that you have here. What I like to do is I like to close the hole with the yarn that I have here. So I'm just going to get a yarn needle for that. So I always like to go through all of the little front loops that we have here. And then through the big loop that your hook was through. And then I tuck everything closed, and that leaves a nice, here it's not open anymore, it's just closed. And then I can just, with the yarn that I had left, I just go right into the hole. And I want to go out on the other side, but I want to go, I try to go as much like right through the filling as possible, so it can take some maneuvering to get there. And I want to go right out of the hole at the other side. And this is really a thing of kind of feeling where the needle is. And if you can't get through this hole, it's also fine if you just go right next to it. Because what I like to do is I just go through here, and then I one round next to it I go down again, and then I just go out wherever is close. Because if you tuck that, then the ends kind of go nearer to each other. So if I tuck it a lot, it will go very squishy like this. And I just want to tuck it the right amount so that it keeps the shape that I want it to have, and that the top and the bottom are nice and flat and aren't like bulging out. And once you have that, I always just make a sneaky little knot. In the end, I just go right into it like this, and I just cut it off because I already made the knot, so it's already gonna stay, so I can just cut it off here. And this leaves it with a nice little box. And I'm also going to show you how you can embroider this box to make it into the TARDIS. So for the embroidery part, we just made this one. For the embroidery part, you can use felt, you can use embroidery thread. I'm going to use a combination of these. It's easiest if you have at least a little bit of black felt for the police box text. So with the actual TARDIS, there's quite a long text on top that says police box. You can see this isn't a very large TARDIS, so I'm just going to embroider police on here. I use embroidery thread for this, and I'm just going to use one strand. If your box is bigger than this, you can always use 2 strands, or if it's really big, you can use something larger. If it's really small, you can also, or if you don't have embroidery thread, you can also use sewing thread. It's just, kind of depends on the size of what you're making. If you make something with a bigger hook size, then the end result is also going to be bigger. So that can be why your TARDIS is bigger, because you're using a different hook size and different yarn. So I'm just going to embroider police on this. It's a bit always difficult to embroider something really small, but you can just try your best, and if it doesn't work out, you can always just not do any text. It's still going to look really cute, or maybe you just do a few lines to make it look like there might be text. You can just figure out what works for you. I'm going to attempt to embroider police on here. It's always good to kind of think, okay, how much space do I have? So police, how many letters is that? And then how much space can every letter take? Because you don't want to be in your second to last letter and run out of space or something like that. And here we have it, a little police sign. So to be honest, I don't really do knots at the back. Most of the time I just kind of cut it off with a bit of an end, because I'm gonna have to glue it on here anyway, so there's gonna be glue already. I always just use fabric glue, textile glue. So what I like to do is, first I like to put some glue in the middle. That way I can just kind of glue these ends that I had on here. I always just kind of use my fingers to spread it. And I just put a thin layer of glue all on the back. And then I let that dry, because if it dries, it's gonna be just a bit sturdier material than normal felt is. And I think that really helps it to if you're gonna cut it in shape and then glue to the police box, I think it helps if you just do one thin layer first, and then once that is dried, actually do your actual layer and get it on there. So I'm gonna leave this to dry, and then the next thing we can do is we can do the windows. So for the windows, you can do several things. You can choose to make little windows with felt and stuck them on there. You can embroider them on with either embroidery thread or with yarn. Whatever you do, you can choose to add more little details to them. This is kind of the part where you can go wild, and you can just do whatever you want and decorate your police box however you want. So I think for this one I'm gonna choose little felt windows. So I just take a piece of felt, so I need 2 windows on each side. So I just cut off a bit of felt. And kind of check how big my windows are going to be. So I think if I do this, each of these strips is going to be a window. I put them right on each other and make sure that the ends are straight. And then I can cut my windows. So it's good to just kind of make sure that they're all kind of the same size. Again, nothing has to be perfect, but it's just nice to, you know, if you put effort in it, to also put effort into the finish. So that leaves us with 8 little windows. And they're all roughly the same size. And I can just glue them on like this. This one isn't finished yet. The TARDIS actually has this text all around. I'm just going to do one with text, and for the rest I'm just going to cut them and not do any text on them, just leave them empty. Yeah, because otherwise I have to do this 4 times and that's just a lot of work. So I'm just going to leave this to dry and then I'll finish it in a bit. So I'm just going to be gluing everything together. First of all, I'll start with this one. And first I'm going to cut it to size because it's a bit big and it's not really, the text is not really in the middle. So I'm just going to cut it so that it is a nice little rectangle. And when it's the size that I want it to, I just put some glue on the back. And I glue it to my little TARDIS right at the top here. Now that I did this, see, yeah, I can also add a black thing like this to the other sides if I want. And I can put some glue on the windows and glue these right under the sign. And I'm now very last minute just seeing that I think they are a little bit too big, so I'm just trimming them down a little bit to make them the size that I want. And to add a little bit of extra detail, I just take embroidery thread, but this is not necessary, it's just an extra little thing that I like to do. I take some embroidery thread in the same color as the police box. And I take, let's do two, yeah. I just take 2 strands of that. And I put those on my needle. And it would have been nice if that went right in one go, but most of the time it doesn't. Okay, I got it. And what I do, I am just gonna put little stripes on it, just like the police box has on TV. So I have one horizontal stripe that goes right down the middle. And then 2 vertical stripes that go on thirds. And like I said before, it is totally optional how much detail you want to put in this. Yeah, I'm making it very detailed. You don't have to, it's all just whatever you want, whatever floats your boat. I think in these details you can really make the pattern your own and just decide to do whatever you want. Maybe you don't want to do felt, maybe you just want to do some embroidery, maybe you want to draw them on, whatever fits you best. And there you have the windows. So yeah, you can decide if you want to do windows, how you want to do them, whatever you want. I'm gonna take my time to also do the rest. Good luck making these. I hope you have loads of fun making your own little TARDIS, because I personally think it just looks really cute. So good luck. And if you have certain things that you'd like, certain tutorials that you like, I just need to like knot these together and then I can cut them off. Totally forgot about these. And what I like to do is just with my crochet hook, just kind of get them inside so that they don't point out. But yeah, if there's things you want to see, if you're making this, I'd love for you to share it with me. Just tag me on Instagram or on Facebook or wherever. I always love seeing what other people make. So yeah, good luck making this. If you like this pattern, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to know what I'm going to do next. Bye.